how's it going? My name is Brendan, and I'd like to share with you today what I think the best camera is for someone just trying to get into photography. So let's say you've shot a lot of pictures with your iPhone, with your point and shoot, but you want to take that step forward, and you want to kind of have a camera that can grow with you. You can try different genres and try different lenses and things like that. I think this camera is really good for that. It's the Fujifilm X-T2, and just to give you an idea of me, I've been doing photography for 10 years. I've used a lot of different cameras, both digital and film, and you can see all my film cameras behind me like some kind of psychopath. But I'm a huge camera geek and I've used a lot of different ones, and I really recommend this one. There's a few reasons why I recommend Fujifilm X-T2 and this camera in particular. Number one is the value and the ecosystem you're buying into. Number two is just the styling and ergonomics of it. And number three is the image quality and colors that you get right out of the camera. So let's jump into that. Okay, the first one is the value. So when I say value, I mean kind of like what you get in 2021 for your money, and almost 2022. And this is a 2016 camera, and you're probably asking like, hey man, like why do you recommend such an old ass camera? That's like 5 years old. Like, just don't cameras change? And I would say they do, but I think in recent years with kind of still images and kind of just photos in particular, and we're not talking about video, the tech hasn't improved that much. I think the main things that you're getting with the newer kind of bodies and new tech is video functionality and autofocus, and those are good, but if you're just using still photo photography, I don't think those are like 100% critical, and your money is better spent elsewhere, I would say. So just an idea of what the price of this at this time, it's $650, and not even, I think you can actually get less than that. I'm in Canada, I'm in Vancouver, BC. I can't even sell this for $650. Like, I've been asking, and I've gotten like, I have it on Marketplace and Craigslist, and I've gotten like maybe 4 offers for lower. So you could probably find this for a good price range around that $600 mark. And just to give you an idea, the model above this one, the X-T3 that came out in, I think 2018, it's twice the price. It's around $1,200 to $1,300 used. And the X-T4, you can't find it used that much, but I saw a couple at $2,000, so that's like triple the price of this. And MSRP new is about $2,200 plus tax. So, you know, you're not getting that much more from the still photography side of things with these kind of older camera bodies. And what you do get with this kind of more pro lineup, so remember back in 2016, this was a pro camera. It was about 1,800 Canadian, around that. You're getting a kind of like really durable body, water resistance, and you're getting all these quality of life stuff like, you know, dual card slot, and it's different from your battery slot. And also, so in case like you have to switch things out a lot. And the other thing is like this electronic viewfinder, it's actually a lot bigger than kind of even the newer ones that are kind of on the lower end lineup. So that's the value. And the other thing is kind of what you get with the Fujifilm ecosystem. When you're looking at where to spend your money, you have to look at the system as a whole. So Fujifilm compared to Canon, Nikon, and Sony, I think the lenses, especially with this kind of mid-tier APS-C size lineup, and that has to do with the sensor, and there's also kind of a different category of pro cameras called full-frame cameras that kind of are in the $2,000–3,000 range. We're talking about different things, but for this kind of tier of camera, I think the lens lineup from Fujifilm and the selection they have is actually a lot more compelling than the competitors. It's just that there's a lot of options, they're very consistent, and there's something for everybody. There's like small, compact, but still really high quality water resistant lenses at you know, this kind of $400 to $600 price range. But you also have kind of professional level, kind of high-end lenses, like at the $1,000 plus range, and then you have this all throughout all the different kind of focal lengths. So you're getting a lot of kind of choice there, and they're also consistent. They all have really good resale value, especially at the lenses. So that's another thing is resale value and kind of the economics of it when you're trying to get into your photography. You don't want to spend all this gear and be like, oh shit, like it's gonna lose money right away. And that's the good thing about spending more money on lenses, is that lenses don't lose value that quickly. For example, I bought a lens for $1,000 used with my Fujifilm. I used it for 2 years, and I sold it 2 years later for $900. So I lost like $100 in value. I used it for 2 years. I think that's a really good value. Versus that if you kind of did the reverse and you bought a $1,000 body, I think in 2 years that's gonna lose like $400 in value. And I know this because I've done this a lot with my cameras over the years, and you can probably tell that I hoard things. Like you can see all these cameras behind me. Anyways, so that's the value you get with this camera and this ecosystem. So spend less on the body, more on the lenses, and then I think that's better value overall. Okay, so the other thing is the styling ergonomics. So when I say styling, I'm just talking about how the camera looks, and I think they look really awesome. And you might think, hey man, that's kind of dumb, like why should that matter? But I think it does. Like the better the camera looks, and the more you think it looks cool and you want to use it and take it out, the more practice you're gonna get, and that's really what matters. It really looks a lot like these old film cameras, and when I shoot these, like people think, oh wow, like that looks cool, like is that an old film camera? And they even ask me questions about this, and it doesn't matter, but like I think it does in terms of your enjoyment of the shooting, especially if you like gadgets and you like kind of old machines and devices. It just depends on the type of person you are, but it does have a function to that. So Fujifilm is kind of unique in that they have these dedicated dials for kind of shutter speed and aperture and ISO and exposure compensation. And I think that helps a lot, especially if you're just learning to do photography. Instead of having to kind of go through the menus and change your settings that way, here you can see if I change shutter speed, it does this to my image. If I do this to my aperture, it does this to my image. And it helps you kind of make that connection to the setting versus what it does to your image, that relationship between those a bit easier, I think, and helps you learn a lot faster. That's just my opinion. Everyone has different learning styles, but I found that pretty helpful. And also, if you're just kind of like have your camera off and then you're in like kind of going indoors or going outside, you're changing different lighting conditions, just being able to change your settings without having to kind of turn your camera on and then do it, and I think that helps a lot too, and just kind of the overall usability. But yeah, that's number two. That's the reason number two. That's styling and ergonomics. So the third reason is image quality, and in particularly colors. So the images look great. They look really nice, and I really kind of attribute that to Fujifilm's color science and expertise. So Fujifilm has decades of experience making all sorts of film. For these kind of film cameras I have back here, they have anything from like disposable camera film that you find at like Walmart, department store film, to like pro kind of studio portrait photography film, to kind of landscape film, all sorts. And they actually have kind of all that kind of built in and simulated inside these bodies. Like you can switch between them. And it sounds gimmicky because it kind of reminds me of like Instagram and the filters. But no, like it actually makes a big difference. Like they have really good film simulation, so the colors, like there's something for everybody, and the colors are really pleasing. And colors are hard, and I think it's easy to take it for granted. But compared to a lot of camera bodies that I've used from different manufacturers, I'm not going to name them because people are sometimes kind of weird with their camera brands. Like they're just like super intense about like, oh, I like A or B versus C or whatever, but I found that like some other camera companies, like their images are really good, but just the colors are not quite as nice. So I found that I would have to use a lot more time editing to get to the colors I want, versus like with the Fujifilms, when I switched over to Fujifilm from, I'm not gonna say what the last one was because I don't want to get hated on, but I was like, wow, I'm spending a lot less time editing my photos to get to the image quality that I like. So I still do it, but it's a lot less. So it's a lot less time editing, and especially as a new photographer, just having that kind of image look nice right out of the camera without having to edit it, I think that's really helpful. It's a good positive feedback loop. It's very encouraging to be able to be kind of excited for your photo and take more and kind of like, oh wow, I'm like look at it right away after you got the shot, and then you can show the other person and they're happy for it and it makes you want to shoot more. So it's part of the experience of getting good quality images out of your camera without having to tinker. So that's the last reason, especially for a beginner. I think that's really valuable. Awesome. Okay, well, there you have it. Those are the 3 reasons why I think the X-T2 is an awesome camera for new photographers, even in 2021. So the first one I talked about is the value of it. You know, just the build quality and how robust it is. You're getting a pro body for like $600. You have a great lens lineup and a lot of options. So it's really a versatile camera and camera system that you're kind of getting into. Number 2 is the styling and ergonomics. Like, it looks good, it'll encourage you to shoot more, and I think these dials make it really easy to learn different settings if that's something that is important to you. You want to learn what the camera does instead of just putting it in auto mode. And number 3 is the colors and the image quality that come out of these cameras are really nice and they're encouraging to shoot. So it makes you want to take more pictures. It makes it so that you don't have to spend that much time editing, especially starting out. You don't really want to do that right away. So, you know, overall a really good package and a really compelling camera. I think so. So hope you liked it. Hope it was helpful. And yeah, let me know if you have any feedback or suggestions or questions. This is actually my first video, so really grateful if you kind of like, you know, even especially if you subscribe, it'll really mean a lot to me. So yeah, thanks a lot. Ooh, and while I have you here, if you're on the fence of whether or not you even want to get a camera, like you already have a cell phone and takes great pictures or a point and shoot, why bother getting a new camera? Let me try to convince you, eh? So the way I look at it is that you have a limited number of moments in your life. You have a finite set of time on Earth, and you don't know how many more moments you have left. You have now, and time just keeps chugging along, and you know, your loved ones, your dogs, your cats especially, and your parents and your siblings, and even yourself, we're not going to last forever, and we keep getting older as the years go by. So 5, 10, 20 years from now, if you take a photo, you're getting a memento of them. You're snapping a freeze frame in time of that moment that you can never get back to. You know, your dogs won't be around forever. You know, your parents won't be around forever. And why not take that image with the best equipment that you can have at that time? And you'll be able to have that image and memory, that memento, that artifact of them at that time to carry with you into the future. And why not do it with the best equipment that you can? I just think it makes a lot of sense. You know, I want a good picture of my dog Vigo, or my parents, or my sibling, or my friends in as rich of detail as I can for later on. So when I look back at it, you know, I can remember them better. So, you know, it's a long way of saying kind of YOLO and everything like that, but yeah, I think it's true. I don't know if that resonated with you or this sounded kind of like woo-woo bullshit, but I don't know. Maybe it did. All right. That's all I got. Thank you.